Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back at Automotodrom Brno for the penultimate round of this season of the TCR Europe and also TCR Eastern Europe. These two championships joining forces for their second to last event of 2024 here in the Czech Republic. It was an important race yesterday for championship leaders. Franco Girolami scored a momentous victory to extend his lead in the championship over Aurelien Comte to 8 points. And in Eastern European Championship, it was Matej Homola scoring yet another Saturday victory. We have got Hungarian Levente Loshonci starting on pole position, and alongside him on the front row, erstwhile Eastern European champion Bartosz Groszek. Let's actually see if we can hear very briefly from the man on pole position. Hi, can we get a quick word with Levente? Morning, Levente. You are sat on pole position for this important race. What are your feelings when you have a clear view into the first corner?
I would like to keep it that way until the end.
And any special tricks? I mean, how's the grip, by the way, here? Is it a challenge for you?
Yeah, pretty much non-existent, so we have to make the best out of it. I think we have a good car for today, so I'll do my best.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good one. And we'll try to make our way. We still have got some time to the other side of the front row of the starting grid. Bartosz Groszek, the former Eastern European TCR champion. I actually even met his opponent from back then, Petr Semerad, here in the paddock. And you may remember the fantastic title battle that they enjoyed together. Morning, Bartek. It's been a while since we were meeting here on the starting grid. Your battle with Petr Semerad way back then for the championship, but now you are back on the grid and you are on the front row. So how much are you going to enjoy this one?
I enjoyed this weekend a lot. I get the last call to race here in TCR Europe. All weekend I'm enjoying. Now we are starting on the front row with Losonci. We know each other from long time ago. So let's have a good race and we'll win.
Any special tricks against the European guys because you know this track?
Yeah, I know this track. We know the degradation of the tires better than they. The most important will be the start as always, and the first 3 laps. After third lap is all about the tire saving, so we'll see who can manage it better.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Giovanni Scamardi and Ignacio Montenegro sharing row number 2 on the starting grid. And if we actually want to see where yesterday's race winners or yesterday's top 3 men are, they are somewhere all the way over there towards the, let's say, maybe mid-pack of the starting grid, because thanks to these two championships joining together, we have had to adjust the rules a tiny little bit. Normally in the Eastern European TCR for the Sunday race, we are choosing between 6 and 10 positions to decide the reverse grid order. And Franco Girolami, yesterday's winner, is now all the way down in 10th. That is a rule that's been set for this weekend, that it is a fixed top 10 reverse grid order for grid of race number 2. So Franco Girolami, who was really happy about yesterday's victory, is starting 10th, right alongside his biggest opponent in the championship and also in yesterday's race, Aurelien Comte. Aurelien, needs to be said that he was slightly disappointed after the defeat yesterday. He was really trying hard, trying everything he could, but he simply couldn't match the pace that Franco Girolami had around this track. And Aurelien said, well, we've got some head scratching really, and we've got a lot of work to do overnight. Let's see if we can come up with something and maybe find a way how to beat Franco and close that gap back down. It's 8 points right now, which is not a lot if you consider that you score 40 points per victory in the European TCR. However, Aurelien would be definitely very happy if he can actually reduce those 8 points, maybe back to 0, as it was before this championship round, before they go to the season finale in Valencia in a couple of weeks' time. And since there's only a couple of minutes left for us before the formation lap commences, we're going to have to clear the grid. So let's get excited about this one and let's enjoy the race number 2 here in Brno. Welcome then everyone here at Automotodrom Brno for the penultimate round of both championships that are here in the Czech Republic. As I already mentioned on the starting grid, we have got the 22 strong field ready for the formation lap to commence. 5.4 kilometer racetrack here in Brno, and it is a beautiful one with a lot of mid-speed corners that are always flicking left, right, left, right, left, right. So you can choose and be creative with your racing lines, as we saw in yesterday's race as well. We have got Levente Losonci on pole position, the Hungarian driver exploiting that top 10 reverse grid order. And as he said, he will be definitely happy if he manages to stay where he currently is. Also, all through the race, to score a victory, Bartosz Groszek. He will be a worthy adversary on the other side of the front row. It is the former Eastern European TCR champion, so he knows full well how to race around Brno. And for this occasion, he's got the latest generation of the RS3 Audi. Giovanni Scamadi in his Cupra Leon, the facelifted brand new car. Number 34 in his case, sits in P3. Alongside him, Ignacio Montenegro, the top rookie driver of the European TCR standings. Adam Colt, he was on the podium in terms of the Eastern European standings yesterday, because although both championships are racing at this track together, they have got separate result tables. And that means that we will have an overall podium after this race, but then they are scoring points separately in their respective championships. Martin Kadlecik, P6, so the other side of row number 3. Maťo Homola, yesterday's winner for the Eastern European TCR. Victor Anderson in his Lincoln Co., the predominantly orange car, in 8th place. And then your fastest two drivers of yesterday, Aurelien Comte and Franco Girolami, sharing the row number 5. Franco Girolami, he wasn't that much further up the road when he crossed the line to finish the race. It was around 3 seconds, so to say. However, he never put a foot wrong and never really allowed Aurelien Comte into any chance. So although the gap wasn't actually the biggest of gaps that we've seen in motorsport, it was enough for him to look dominant in yesterday's race. And let's see if Aurelien Comte, together with his team, managed to find something overnight and managed to come up with some ideas, maybe use that creativity. And most importantly, he'll be definitely aiming for a great start, because that's where you can gain places, but also lose a lot. David Kajaya, P11, alongside him Felipe Fernandez, P13, that's René Kircher, and alongside him Viktor Davidovsky, Giacomo Gamandi in P15 from Jiří Zbožínek, one of the local drivers, Žarko Knego in 17th from Ivars Valers, then Petr Čížek and Franjo Dubreta sharing row number 10, and behind them Jordan Dolishka and Vít Smejkal to complete the overall standings and overall order on the starting grid. This is the Kevin Schwann's corner, the infamous right-hander that feels like never-ending, and it's also downhill. So it's a place where you can actually try and attempt an overtaken maneuver, and it's a spot where overtaken maneuvers usually happen. However, it is a very difficult corner because all of the load is on the front axle, actually mostly on the outside, of course, because you're cornering, you are also going steep downhill, so it's a tricky one to manage. And then from there, having reached the lowest point on the track, we are starting to climb dramatically towards the start and finish straight here in Brno. Levente Losonci, 7th placed man in the overall standings of the European TCR. He has already scored a victory this season, as he took the checkered flag as the first man on the road in the first race in Belgium in Zolder. That was round 2 of the championship. Having started from pole back then. But that was his only victory. Oh, sorry, I just missed one road in the table. Levente Loshanci actually scored the victory in the second race in Zolder. The first one was won by Nicola Baldan, so I beg your pardon for that. Either way, 11 laps awaiting us. Everybody ready on the starting grid. All the issues done and dealt with, so the green flag is in the air, the red lights are on, and away we go in Brno for the second time this weekend. Levente Loshanci from pole position. Bartosz Groszek immediately slotting behind him to try and fight for the race lead. He has to go around the outside, and right behind them that was Ignacio Montenegro coming through. It seems to have been a good start for the car number 23. We've got the car number 34 also fighting, and the championship leaders coming through, even 4 or maybe 5 abreast into the left-hander. Exciting stuff on the opening lap of the race. Oh, and there's a crash. That's Petr Čížek making contact with one of the cars right in front of one of our cameras, and the car number 64 coming through. That's Levente Loshanci, the pole sitter, coming back on the top of the standings, having a big fight with Bartosz Groszek. Now we are entering the stadium section. Let's wait for the cars to get into the view. Bartosz Groszek losing ground currently, and it is a couple of Hondas at the top. Car number 301, that's Martin Karlecik, taking a slight hit from behind. And that might even very well be Franco Girolami trying to come through. But it is now a Honda duo at the top of the field, and we have got a safety car already yellow flagged, and I believe that there's Adam Coate still making ground, which he shouldn't be doing right now, as the yellow flags are already out, and also the safety car boards, and that means that Adam Coate is going to have to return those positions, which he is doing right now. He missed that signal, and there is the safety car waiting for the cars, because we have got a slight carnage as a result of the opening lap of the race. So there were big fights, there were trouble. Wietz Mekal having his own fight with Jordan Dolishka and her Honda Civic. And Smekal's teammate Petr Čížek getting himself into trouble in turn number 3. The right-hander at the top of the hill. So we've got, and if I see that right, it's a couple of Hondas actually leading the race. It is indeed the pole sitter Levente Loshanci in the lead, but Ignacio Montenegro making a great getaway. The top rookie of the season coming through from 4th on the grid, and gaining 2 places to be currently 2nd, Ignacio Montenegro. He has also already scored a victory. That was in the 2nd race in Belgium at Spa. And currently Montenegro is 3rd in the championship standings with 261 points to his name. By the way, Franco Girolami, after yesterday's victory at 309, from Aurélien Comte 301, so 8 points splitting the 2 championship leaders, or the highest placed duo in the European TCR. And there is the scene of the accident. Petr Čížek tagging also someone else. And let me very quickly check the lifetiming standings, because we have got the cars slightly hidden from the view. on both of the cameras, and I'm just checking the live timing screener. That might be Žarko Kniego eliminated in that opening lap incident. I do not see the Croatian driver continuing in the race, and it is indeed the car number 74. As you can see right over the crest, it is the number 74 appearing on the side window that we can see, and that is the Hyundai Elantra of Žarko Kniego being eliminated already on the opening lap of the race. What a bad luck for the Croatian driver. So Kniego and Čížek out of this race after the first lap, but it is Levente Lošonci leading from Ignacio Montenegro. Bartoš Grošek dropping down to third in his Audi. Giovanni Scamadi currently in fourth from Aurelien Comte. And Aurelien Comte made a really beautiful getaway from the start, and that is exactly what he needed to do, because he's currently in fifth place, while his championship rival Franco Girolami, he was also successful at the start, but not as successful as his French opponent. And Franco Girolami gained 2 places to be currently 8th, having started 10th on the grid. This is Žarko Kniego's car being towed away from the scene of the accident. And when we also clear the car of Petr Čížek, we will be ready to go green again here in Brno. So it is Levente Lošonci leading from Ignacio Montenegro. Bartoš Grošek in third from Giovanni Scamadi. Aurelien Comte up to 5th from Victor Anderson. Adam Coate in 7th, having had to return the places that he accidentally gained when the safety car was called out. Franco Girolami, the European Championship leader, in 8th from Martin Karlečík. He lost 3 places at the start, so not the greatest of starts for the local driver. David Kajaya made up 1 place to find himself inside the top 10 for the moment in his Mertel Motorsport Honda. Giacomo Gamandi 4 places better than on the grid, and the Italian driver currently in 11th from Felipe Fernandez. Matteo Homola, one of the biggest losers of the opening lap, as he dropped 6 positions from the start, and yesterday's race winner currently only in 13th overall. That is not looking good for the Slovakian driver, the reigning Eastern European champion, and the man who can actually seal the deal today already if he manages to extend his lead enough in the Eastern European Championship. However, is that gonna happen? Because Matteo Homola, after yesterday's race, is currently leading his teammate Adam Coate by a whopping 45 points. Different point scoring system for the Eastern European TCR. We have got 25 points for a race victory, not 40. So a 45-point gap is already a lot. However, as I mentioned, the tables have turned quite significantly at the start of this race. And while Adam Coate is 7th, and in terms of Eastern European TCR, he's 2nd behind Bartoš Grošek, Matteo Homola is down in 13th overall. Behind him, Viktor Davidovsky, then René Kirche, Ivar Zvalers, Jiří Zbožínek, Franjo Dubreta, Jordan Doliška, and Vít Smejkal completing the field. So Adam Coate currently 2nd in the Eastern European standings, albeit he is 7th overall. And if I'm just checking the other Eastern European drivers right behind him, or let's say in between him and his teammate Matteo Homola, we have got Martin Karlečík, David Kajaya and Giacomo Gamandi in between the 2 Janik Motorsport Elantras. That would mean that Adam Colt is currently second in the Eastern European standings, Matej Homola in sixth. And currently that would mean that Adam Colt would reduce his gap to his teammate by 10 points, which is a lot. So from 45 to 35. Which is still not few. However, it would mean that the title decider would go, as they say, down to the wire in a couple of weeks' time in Austria at the Salzburg Ring round that the Eastern European TCR guys can still be looking forward to. Mind you, the European TCR has actually already raced in Austria this season, and it was Franco Girolami and Ruben Volt sharing celebrations and race victories in race number 1 and then race number 2. Ruben Volt not present here in Brno, so not scoring any points. The 4th placed man in the standings. Same goes for Nicolas Baldan, who is skipping this round, and that has already meant that he has dropped by 1 position in the championship standings. Thanks to yesterday's result, it was Felipe Fernandez that got up to 5th in the championship. Franco Girolami 309 or 309 points. Aurelien Comte 301, so 8 points between them. That's what I already mentioned. But if we keep going further down, we've got Ignacio Montenegro still within a mathematical chance. 261 points to his name, so 48 points. And the European TCR is actually very generous in handing out points, 40 per race victory. So still a lot to be played for. So we are still waiting for that information from race control. I still see, I believe it is the flatbed truck being at the scene of the accident. It appears to me that Kniego's car was actually easier one to extricate from the gravel trap, as it was presumably just spun around. However, we saw slightly bigger damage on the Cupra of Petr Čížek, and I'm even afraid that he broke the front left wheel, which would then make the Spanish car way harder to actually drag out of the gravel trap. That's why it has been taking some time so far, and we have been circulating around and around behind the safety car for a couple of laps already. But the safety car has already turned its lights off, and that means that we are going to be racing again here in Brno. So it is now up to Levente Loshonci to choose the pace and choose the moment where he goes flat out, the rest of the pack snaking behind him. The safety car is now returning back to its position in the pit lane. So the i30 Hyundai is back in, and we will be racing in the Czech Republic once again. So it is Levente Loshonci bringing everybody around the final corner onto the start and finish straight. Loshonci leading from Ignacio Montenegro, the 2 Hondas right behind one another in their 1-2 currently, but immediately being put under pressure by Bartosz Groszek in the Aditis Racing's Audi. And it is Aurelien Comte coming through on Giovanni Scamardi, taking 4th place. So Aurelien Comte, having been defeated yesterday, has decided that he is going to go and do something about that. And he is a mode of full attack for today's race. So Aurelien Comte coming through Victor Anderson in his predominantly orange Lincoln Co. also in the fight. There they are. You see the fights further down the field. Car number 34, that's Giovanni Scamardi losing yet more ground, and Victor Anderson under pressure from Adam Colt, and that's one of the Hondas going sideways. Car number 3, Giacomo Gamandi, in trouble in the right-hander entering the stadium section. He somehow managed to collect that. Lap number 5 out of 11. Victor Anderson under huge pressure now from Giovanni Scamardi, and also yesterday's winner Franco Girolami coming through. He has already dealt with Adam Colt. Adam Colt currently under pressure from his compatriot Martin Kadlecik. David Kajaya also trying to see if there's anything for him to be had at the party table. Beautiful scrap going on within the entire top 10 currently. It's the couple of Hondas leading us away. Car number 19 of Felipe Fernandez going sideways right ahead of Matteo Homola. And Giacomo Gamandi, the car number 3. Also pushing. Victor Anderson in the orange Lincoln Co. Behind him it is car number 34, and that is Giovanni Scamardi. Yesterday's race winner Franco Girolami under pressure now, but also putting pressure, so fighting in both directions and around the outside of the first corner. That's the unconventional way to go around this corner, but Franco Girolami is trying that anyway. Can he make it stick? No, but not yet. Franco Girolami choosing the inside line, gluing his Cupra to the inside line, and trying to make a move on Scamardi. Into the left-hander they go. Scamardi seemingly staying ahead. No, he's not. He's actually put 2 wheels on the grass, dropping yet more ground. This is your race leader, still Levente Loshonci holding on to the race lead from Ignacio Montenegro. Bartosz Groszek in 3rd. And there is Scamardi, having sat on row number 2 on the grid. He's dropping like a stone into the pond and finding himself already somewhere around the edge of the top 10. There he is, being attacked by Felipe Fernandez, exiting the stadium section. David Kajaya also having a look left and right, but he was a bit too far away for that situation. Further fights up front. There is Girolami putting pressure on Adam Colt. Scamardi under pressure from Fernandez. Then Kajaya, then Giacomo Gamandi, then it is Matteo Homola. Actually, I beg your pardon, that's Matteo Homola from Viktor Davidovski. Which would be the other Monlau Motorsport Cupra. And across the line we go, Giacomo Gamandi side by side with David Kajaya. Gamandi goes down the inside, defends his position, well actually gets one position off the hands of David Kajaya. Matteo Homola right behind them. Gamandi under pressure from Kajaya, and also Matteo Homola, the car number 70. But let's take a look further up the field, because Bartosz Groszek is currently putting pressure on Montenegro, but himself being under pressure from Aurelien Comte. Aurelien Comte sensing a big haul of points from race number 2. So This seems to be a beautiful turnaround so far. Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. The race has been extended by 2 laps, having spent quite a lot of time behind the safety car. So we've got now the new 13-lap target for the race distance. It's Losonci leading by less than a second from Montenegro. Then it's Groszek, then it's Comte. And Comte already looking into podium positions. Further pressure from Homola towards David Kajaya. They've got Viktor Davidovsky right behind them. And also Ivars Valers in LV Racing's Audi. Up the hill we go again. By the way, in the meantime, Franco Girolami set the fastest lap of the race. Viktor Davidovsky having a look down the inside on David Kajaya. Into the left-hander, that second to last corner. And back onto the start and finish straight we go. Exciting fight just behind the top 10. And Viktor Davidovsky piling on the pressure on David Kajaya. But how about the leaders? Groszek still defending hard from Aurelien Comte. They only had quarter of a second between them across the line. Losonci leading from Montenegro. The 2 ALM Motorsport Hondas still on the way for their 1-2 finish, which would be a fantastic result for the team. However, the race is still long. There they are. The current generation Hondas behind them. Bartosz Groszek, he was trying to put more pressure back on them. However, he has had to watch his rearview mirrors very recently with Aurelien Comte so close behind. And this is exactly what Aurelien Comte needs. He needs to reduce that 8-point gap down and preferably even revert it and maybe even get ahead in the championship standings. But Girolami is 6th. And he's actually already made up one more place because Girolami has already dealt with Victor Anderson in his Lincoln Co. So the predominantly red Monlau Motorsport Cupra has already passed the MAGP's car. So now the championship leaders, so to say, are right behind one another once again. So this is now threat level midnight for Aurelien Comte. He needs to get past Groszek because he's already got his championship opponent, Franco Girolami, right in his rearview mirrors. And that is a look that he does not want to see. He will definitely be attempting to get past the Audi. But it's not an easy task. They are so closely matched in terms of pace, so it's very difficult to actually come up with something and find a place where Bartosz Groszek would have a weakness. But you are talking about the former Eastern European champion that has already had his fair share of races around this track, so he knows this place very well indeed, and he knows how not to put a foot wrong. He knows all the tricks around this track, but this is also flat-out racing. Aurélien Comté still putting more and more pressure, but coming under some himself. Franco Girolami, yesterday's race winner, right together with his championship rival. The European TCR title will definitely go down to the wire to Valencia. It can't be decided today. Lochons is still leading. And that second victory of the season is getting closer and closer to sight. And it is so close and yet so far away, with 4 laps remaining from race number 2 here in Brno. Montenegro in second from Grošek and Comté and Girolami. Franco Girolami already having a look. He's showing himself in Comté's rearview mirrors just to give him that message. I am right with you. I'm breathing down your neck. And they are now so close to one another. Franco Girolami already lining up for a move down the inside. Aurélien Comté leaves the door open and the championship leaders go side by side together down the hill now to the stadium section. Aurélien Comté left the door open and Franco Girolami does not need to be invited twice. He takes the position off the hands of Comté, but Comté is not giving up and he takes the place back. Fantastic scrap between the championship leaders. Aurélien Comté back up in 4th. What a fight that was. Slight mistake from the French driver, who saw that wasn't even an attempt, was just a look from Franco Girolami. Comté left the door open and Franco Girolami said, okay, I'll have that if you are giving that away to me. And Comté said, no, I'm not letting you through so easily, mate. Now into the Kevin Schwantz corner. Girolami only left with the outside line to this one. That's not the one that you can usually overtake around here. And now let's go back up the hill. This is releasing the pressure of Grošek. Grošek gains some breathing space and can refocus on Montenegro up front, which he is immediately doing. And the fight is hotting up in the closing stages of race number 2 here in Brno. And what once seemed like a fantastic chance to Aurélien Comté to actually score a lot more points than Franco Girolami is now turning in the outright skirmish on the track. And Comté has to go defensive, has to go aggressive. He can't afford himself to lose more points. And he knows that full well. I actually really like the way Aurélien Comté is going about this race. He knew full well that he has to do something about yesterday's situation. He was so good at the start, gained so many places and was really moving up front, but unfortunately then he hit the wall in the form of Bartosz Grošek, not literally of course, and his progress stopped. And that's where the tables turned again. Franco Girolami caught the second breath and caught back up with his championship rival. They've already swapped places once and we are less than 3 laps from home. Still this race going in the direction of Aurélien Comté, but only just. So Comté shook off the pressure for now and is refocusing back on Grošek. This is fantastic dynamic. One moment you're defending, one moment you're attacking. You've got to have your eyes absolutely everywhere and be absolutely spot on. But all of these drivers, they are experienced, they are very talented. They have not come to Brno just to collect blueberries and to hang around. These are serious racing drivers. Levente Loshonce exploiting the advantage of the fights right behind himself and extending his race lead over 2 seconds for the moment. Girolami having a look. The penultimate lap of the race. That was a sight of two Cupras being driven absolutely on the edge of reason. They are just going so flat out. Now they have the final 2 laps and they have to squeeze the rest of the life out of their tires. Loshonce now way up front. This is now becoming his race to lose. But Ignacio Montenegro holding on to second. He's not really had that many problems with Groszek in the last couple of laps. Groszek is trying and now coming really close. But he has to watch the two Cupras in his rearview mirrors. The situation stabilized. But that might be that piece right before a storm. A final lap awaiting. Once we climb this hill and reach the start and finish line, to begin one more lap. Last 5.5 kilometers in this race, with Comte still having the upper hand on his outright championship rival Franco Girolami. But this is the final one. We can definitely expect something. Franco Girolami lining up for a move. Comte going defensive. So we shut the door a little earlier, having learned from that one mistake that he made and then made up for. Comte not really in place to attack Groszek, but Girolami having another look. This is getting serious once again. This is exactly where we need the drone view. Groszek trying something on Montenegro. Comte shut the door on Girolami. Now we are descending downhill to the stadium section. Also Groszek going defensive. Comte having his opponent right on his rear bumper. They even touched. Now entering the stadium section. What a race among the championship leaders. Victor Anderson also getting in the mix. Groszek going defensive, but very hard. And Comte actually tagging Groszek into a half spin, and Comte coming through together with Girolami and Victor Anderson. But this might get Comte into trouble with race stewards. But he now has to forget about all that and focus on the defense against Franco Girolami. That is now a problem for later, but a problem that will be then waiting for him when the race finishes. Ignacio Montenegro still 2 seconds behind his teammate Levente Loshonce, who is now firmly on course to his second win of the season, having won the second race in Zolder. The final couple of corners, and the ALM Motorsport will be celebrating because it is a Honda 1-2 in race number 2 here in Brno. Levente Loshonce is scoring a momentous victory here in the Czech Republic ahead of his teammate Ignacio Montenegro. Aurelien Comte beating his championship rival Franco Girolami across the line, but with a potential penalty looming over him. Aurelien Comte tagged Bartosz Groszek into a half spin on that final lap of the race. And that might very well be, or very well have been, that one fight that he needn't have been in. Because Bartosz Groszek, although fighting for the same outright result, is in a different championship. And that would be a terrible, terrible, terrible piece of bad luck for Aurelien Comte if he actually gets penalized for tagging a driver that isn't in the same championship. But that might very well happen. Aurelien Comte couldn't really return that position because immediately when Groszek was in trouble, we had Franco Girolami and Victor Anderson follow through. Levente Losonci taking a lights to flag victory, so exactly what he told us on the grid then came true, and the Hungarian driver allowed nobody in the first position, and he scores the second victory of the 2024 season. His teammate Ignacio Montenegro, the best rookie of the season, completing the ALM Motorsports 1-2 victory. Aurelien Comte coming home in third, so he will be on the podium, right ahead his championship rival and yesterday's race winner Franco Girolami. Victor Anderson fifth across the line, with Bartosz Groszek taking a victory in the Eastern European TCR on his return to the championship. Adam Colt second in the Eastern European TCR from Martin Kadlecik, Felipe Fernandez and Giovanni Scamadi, completing the overall top 10. And what is also important, Matteo Homola in 11th, so he's lost a couple of points on his teammate Adam Colt, which means that even the Eastern European TCR title battle will go down to the wire in a couple of weeks' time in Austria, in Salzburg Ring. What a race this was. So Matteo Homola in 11th from David Kjaya, Viktor Davidovsky in 13th, Ivar Zvalers in 14th from Franjo Dubreta, René Kirche, Jiří Zbožinek, Jordan Dolishka, Giacomo Germandi and Vít Smejkal. And the only two drivers not finishing the race were Žarko Knego and Petr Čížek, the drivers that collected one another on the opening lap of the race, bringing out the safety car. Ignacio Montenegro, the best rookie of 2024, and together with his teammate Levente Losonci, they will be celebrating a 1-2 victory for ALM Motorsport. Great stuff for the Honda drivers. And Aurelien Comte, I now have the presumably updated results, and what the results show me is that Aurelien Comte is dropping by 5 seconds, and that means that he got a 5-second penalty for that tag on Bartosz Groszek, and that drops Aurelien Comte all the way down to 9th. And that is exactly what I said. That's really bad luck. Well, not bad luck. I mean, he really tried that attempt, but the door was closing, and in the end that turned out to be overly aggressive. That tagged Bartosz Groszek into a half spin. It actually didn't affect Groszek's race in any way in terms of Eastern European standings. He's still a race winner, although he got overtaken by 3 cars in that corner. But the damage this is making on Aurélien Comte's championship is way, 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 way bigger. And I really feel for the French driver, because he tried so hard all through the race. It was a really nice race on his part. However, that was the one mistake that he really could do without and should have done without. And as I mentioned, a contact with a driver from another championship hands him a penalty, and that means that he's dropping down to 9th overall. That brings Franco Girolami up to 3rd, which must be confirmed very briefly. We've got the 2 Hondas here in the shot. I'm actually trying to get a view from our broadcasting van, because you see that white van in your picture. A little left of that is another black van. That's our broadcasting van. So we've just opened the door to check the cars that are standing here, because we see these couple of Hondas, and there must be another Cupra. But is it the Cupra of Franco Girolami, or is it the Cupra of Aurélien Comte? That's the most important piece of information that we need right now. But I see that Aurélien Comte has been dropped to 9th. Okay, so I'm getting the information that no Cupra is actually currently... Oh, there it is. We have it on one of our cameras, and there it is, a car of Franco Girolami. Yes. So Aurélien Comte, he got that 5-second penalty, and we are now on the podium for this race. So there they are, Franco Girolami in 3rd, Ignacio Montenegro in 2nd, and Levente Loshonce taking a victory.
Pardon, na počest vítěze maďarská státní hymna.
So that was the Hungarian anthem for Levente Loshonce, scoring that victory here in Brno. It was a very well executed race for the ALM Motorsport driver, and I should say ALM Motorsport drivers, because also Ignacio Montenegro putting yet more glamour on that victory, because it is a 1-2 finish for the team. And Franco Girolami in 3rd. And that's actually so important for the championship, because Aurélien Comte, whether he would have overtaken Groszek or not, Groszek was racing in the Eastern European Championship. Aurélien Comte was on course to chop 3 points off the lead of Girolami, but due to that collision, he ends up losing further 9 to Girolami, and that way he will see that championship gap extend from 8 to 17 points. But let's leave further maths for later. Both championships are going down to the wire. Both the Eastern European and European. One in Salzburg Ring, one in Valencia. But it is now time to celebrate with the outright winners, Levente Loshonci, Ignacio Montenegro and Franco Girolami. And that's it for the penultimate round of the 2024 season. My name is Pavel Fabri, I was your commentator, and we are going on with our Sunday program of the ESET Cup Series in just a couple of moments with the second race of the Central European Formula 4. But for now, it is a very warm goodbye.